I don't know if there are certain, and I do actually know that there are certain tenets that they're supposed to live by, certain understandings that women of the craft are supposed to observe, and that would form a loose kind of a community. And so, whatever. But I feel like, you know how I feel about tradition. I'm very traditional. I may mix traditions, because I am a mixed person. I am a descendant of the diaspora, so I have Yoruba ancestry. I also have Native American ancestry, and I also have been influenced by other cultures that live where I live. Okay, so there is a little bit of sprinkling, that takes place, but in general, I love tradition. And I think that it's very important. And I know that it is within that tradition that my power lies, because that's where my ancestors are. And that's where the Orisha are. And that is where the understanding and the magic, where it lives. And it is initiation based. It is occult. You don't know what I know if you're a lone witch. You don't. Because the people that hold that information are not going to give it to you. For fear of their life and the life and joy of their descendants, they're not going to share that information with you. Anybody that's gone through the initiation process that I went through would be very protective of that information. And so I'm saying all that to say that I whatever. Whatever. I mean, I guess it's, I'm not here to pass judgment, so I can't say that it's good to be a lone witch, or it's bad to be a lone witch, or lone witches shouldn't, or what they should do. I find it difficult to even identify with the lone witch, because I am a priestess who's part of a great and glorious tradition, and I wouldn't have it any other way. And I also think that it says something about, how do I say this? Because I don't want to judge individuals, and I don't want to offend anyone. But I think that if you're choosing a person to work with, right, you want to vet them. You want to be able to trace their lineage. You know how important that is in your tradition, in Vodun, right? It's important. The lineage is everything. Am I right? Okay. And Ifa the same way. You need to know, okay, who initiated you and who initiated them, and so on and so forth. And if a person is truly part of a tradition, that information is there. If you're going to a practitioner who identifies as a lone witch, who initiated you? Okay, YouTube, public library, couple of girls that you met in a chat room, you guys swapped information, did some magic, it seemed to work, so now you want to do it for me? What about the lineage? What about did your great grandmother do this work and got positive results? And so that's the reason why we're still talking about it, because we know, because of generation after generation doing this stuff and it having a positive effect on us. You get what I'm saying? That's what you get when you work inside of a tradition. Ifa is not what I say it is. Ifa is Ifa. You get what I'm saying? The Orisha are not who I tell you they are. It's not what a Disney movie tells you they are. It is, an Orisha is what that Orisha is. And that understanding of that energetic force and the knowledge and understanding of how to work with that energy, how to tap into it, how to make it useful for you, all of that information has been understood over eons. And it's been recorded in our oral traditions and passed down in a way and specifically for us. So I would much rather work with a body of knowledge that was created by my people, for my people, specifically for me. They maintained this knowledge and they made sure that they transmitted it and that they paid it forward just for me. My ancestors 2,000 years ago 8,000 years ago were thinking about me. You understand? Like just the power and the humility that brings up in me. They were thinking about me when they created the liturgy of the Odu. When they put that system together and they said this is how it's going to be organized because it will be easier for people to remember it, and we're going to teach it in stages, and there'll be rites of passage associated with it so we know that you're ready to receive it. When they created all of those systems, they did it with me in mind. This is for me, it's mine. Why would I turn my back on that in favor of me trying to figure some shit out on my own? When I have this and it's available to me, my blood tells me that it's mine. I have authorization to have it. Why would I choose anything else? I guess is what I'm saying. So that's all I'm saying.
To put that all into perspective for everybody, I guess I should say this. The Lone Witch is some shit that me and her made up.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it ain't like we can really feel some type of way about something that we fabricated.
Well, I think that people may feel convicted because they're like, okay, well, I identify as a witch and I work by myself. I don't have a coven and I'm not attached to a tradition. And I do learn on YouTube.
Yeah, but that's not how we're using Lone Witch. When we use Lone Witch, we're actually trying to describe, we're trying to more specifically describe a type of solo practitioner.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's kind of difficult for us to like really have an opinion about it, like a real one, because, I mean, I feel like we're both trying to draw upon instances where we've seen the Lone Witch not work, and we were quite offended by it. But there are definitely some times where I'm thinking of somebody that was just an amazing practitioner that wasn't a part of any particular tradition, but was just an amazing practitioner. Again, that's still sanitized, but that's how we feel about the Lone Witch. Shit, I mean, I'm not one.
Yeah.
I mean, it ain't my thing, but.
And if you're getting work done by someone, whether it be a reading and definitely anything beyond that, if you're actually having someone do work on you, to you, for you, and you're spending a lot of money, I think that it only makes sense, out of respect for yourself, your hard-earned money, and your ancestors, that you make sure that this person is qualified and that you understand where they're coming from and how do they know what they know. And we talked about that on other broadcasts, and I think that that's something difficult to do when you're working with a lone practitioner who's not attached to a tradition. I can take you to my Baba. I can take you to my lineage is intact. It's intact, and it's glorious and beautiful.
It is dangerous to do spiritual work by yourself. This is a community-based experience. I do not advise people to stay lone witches. I do not advise you to stay a lone practitioner, if only because it increases the likelihood that you're going to develop some type of mental illness. This shit will drive you crazy.
It will.
The further that you go into it, the deeper that you go into it, the people that if you're really trying to heal people, they're going to be crazier, 10 times crazier than you are. And sometimes a little bit of their crazy can become yours. Mm-hmm. And if you don't have someone around you that's an experienced that's more experienced than you to keep you in check,
exactly,
you're prone to be somebody that's seeking out mental health services and spiritual work at the same goddamn time. So I don't advise people to be a lone witch. I think let me clean it up. Be a lone witch because we all got to start off somewhere, but that should not be your end goal. Mm-hmm. Being the most supreme, being a supreme is not the goal. Mm-hmm. Being a supreme is not the goal. The goal is for you to be integrated into a community of people who look, think, act, and practice like you, who can supervise you and you can supervise them. Without any supervision, you're just running around in the playground, getting hurt, with no parent to come pick you up after school.
Experimenting on people.
Say more about that.
I mean, because, like I said, I keep going back to the tradition. Ifa, in particular, is a tradition that is at least 30,000 years old. Now, the history books may tell you something else. They may give it 12,000 years. But we have an oral tradition that we can take you back 30,000 years, okay? So in that 30,000 year period, you can imagine if we can all agree that there's nothing new under the sun, then you can imagine that my ancestors, our collective ancestors, encountered everything that was encounterable. The 256 Odu apply to the human condition, period. The human condition, full stop. So, within the liturgy of Ifa is every possible thing that could ever happen to any person that would ever be born from a woman into this earth, into this world, okay? If my ancestors have already studied and understood this information, recorded it, there are 256 Odu. Within each Odu, there are anywhere from 16 to 32 verses. And that's actually being conservative, because outside of Isheshe, which is traditional Ifa, you also have Ifa from other countries and other areas surrounding the Yoruba nation. Okay, so you have versions of Ifa that spread out all over West and Central Africa. So there are actually additional Odus, but let's just look at the Isheshe proper. Okay, there are 256 Odus. Within each one of those, there are 16 to 32 verses, and each one of those verses refers to a particular circumstance of the human experience. It's already there. What the person is going through at that moment, what may happen next, what got them there, what medicines they need for what's coming. That all exists in those verses. So this is information that has been understood and recorded for eons, and it still applies to this day. The computer systems that we use, the reason that we're even able...
Bonjour, I'm Pastor Dr. Quintari Shakir, otherwise known as Negrezo. If you can't get enough of our content for as little as $2 a month, you can get these and other videos at least 1 week ahead of their YouTube release date. That's www.patreon.com/Black Spectrum Network.
To be on YouTube at this moment and record this broadcast is because of the binary system that was created by the Yoruba people, and understanding that they had of that framework. All of that being said, why would I want to go and take chances and play around with people's lives and destinies trying to see if something works when I know that over here they already have the answer? And I'm not talking about religiousness. I'm talking about medicine. I'm talking about botany. I'm talking about astrology. I'm talking about understandings of the condition of a person's body and of a person's mental capacity and state based on their lineage, which is all recorded in the Odu. I'm just saying, why go anywhere else? And Ifa is not the only tradition that is like that. You will find that many, and dare I say most, African traditions have a very rich history that will provide you with those same answers. So why would I need to Google anything when I can go straight to the divine messenger and ask? Why? If I can swipe my card at the library of heaven, so to speak, the Akashic records, why would I do anything else? That's just my take on it.
It's not okay to be a lone witch. I agree with you. It's not okay to be a lone witch. It's
ridiculous. And someone mentioned in the comments, they said, well, some people have no choice but to practice on their own.
No, you have a choice because you're watching this live. No, we gotta stop this shit. Like this has to stop with people. You know how I feel about people when I get really pissed when people say this is how I am, and I don't have a choice in being this way, or some people, they may not have the opportunity to do different. That's never
like my
really
mama used to say, if you can hum, you can hear. Don't, you know what I mean by that?
Yeah, I know what you mean. What? You heard me.
If you can hum, you can hear. If you're on this live, if you're Googling, if you're on this live, you have...
And you're comfortable being a lone witch, these are the spirits telling you that they're trying to make you uncomfortable. And let me help make you even more uncomfortable. It is not okay to be a lone witch. It is dangerous to be a lone witch. It is pre-K of you to be a lone witch, and the goal is to be a part of a community. You are practicing inadequately. It's not enough. And where you are right now is not where you should be, and it's not where you need to be.
And you're going to get your ass spanked if you ever come up against a priestess or a priest or someone who has...
No, you're going to get your ass spanked by the entities that you're going to continue encountering on this journey and especially the entities that people carry. Now I'll tell you this. Now we don't have an Odu. But what I can tell you is that a lot of Vodouazants are astrologists, and we can tell you like what's coming to you. Hell, I learned that very early on. I tried to read my Godfather chart, and he was like, "We already do that." And so, the way that blood lineage matters is in relationship to the particular entity that you're dealing with. You don't want to fuck with voodoo deities, and you don't have authorization to do it. Because I'll say this: I used to think that was superstition when I first started this, where they were saying like, "Oh, my ancestors played around with this deity. Our family is cursed," or I played around with this voodoo deity, and now they're bothering me. No, that shit is real. Them voodoo deities are not to be fucked with because they are the Loa are very aggressive and it's menacing and it is predatory. And I'm calling it for what it is. It's menacing and it's predatory because I'm thinking about when all I had was Barone last year and I tried to uninitiate.
Oh my God.
That's long witching.
I remember.
I was not a long witch. So I'm putting this in the context of things. It's coming to me as I'm thinking about it. Because my ancestors worked with Barone, I had to as well. But at that time, I only had Barone's energy and not Bridget's. So what was happening? My ass was
losing it.
I was losing it that fucking day. So I know what I'm saying to be true because, it's only because I've experienced it and I've heard other people doing it. I know that if you're not authorized to work with the Loa, you need to chill out, you need to stop. And if you are authorized to work with them, you need to have a practitioner to tell you how to set up the altar, when to feed them, how to feed them, because they are very possessive.
If they even need an altar. You guys,
the Loa will need an altar.
Some of these energies, some Orisha, you don't even put them in your house. They don't even need to be under the same roof with you because of the power and the ravenous nature of the energy. And so you guys are telling people, oh, set up an altar to Eshu. No, don't do that. Don't do that.
And so for those of you that are long witching it out here that are like, Negzo, can you talk to me more about Barone? I'm so drawn to this energy. So no, you need to get a reading. To figure out if you even have the ancestry to do it.
Right.
Because we don't give initiations to foreigners. That being said, I'm going to tell you how predatory these deities are. Predatory may not be the correct word, but I do want to instill some danger and fear in you so that you walk with caution.
Right. Gingerly. Walk gingerly.
Oh my God. So, with that being said, y'all, what I'm really trying to explain to you is this. That they're predatory in this way. That they just want more. Whatever you think is yours is theirs now. And you may not have the blood lineage to work with them, but everybody has Loa. Typically, you're going to marry the Loa if you initiate, if you don't have the lineage, and then you have to reserve one day out of the week for them.
Yeah.
You can't sleep in the bed with anybody. If you got a husband, he got to sleep on the couch. You have to sleep in a because they own you. And so if you play around, you may end up in a relationship with an entity that's not a part of your destiny and you have to feed it for the rest of your life. And then, I don't know if it's a curse or a blessing, but the future generations
will have to do the
same thing and work with the entity. And you could end up cursing your future generations should they not be willing to worship the way that you worship.
Yeah. And what if you're not even able, because we know that people have underdeveloped intuition, right? What if you're not even able to decipher what's going on from this energy that you just read about on Google and you thought it'd be great to work with? What if you don't even understand what that pull is when it's happening in your life, that they're saying, oh, I need my day? What if you don't even know what that is? Imagine the chaos that ensues.
Because what's going to happen, what's in you is going to come out of you. So I've learned this from astrology. That let's say, because I'm supposed to be, I got to be mindful of my emotions for the next few years, because if I don't let my emotions out, I'm going to have heart problems. If it sits within me, I'm going to have a heart attack. Or somebody around me is going to cause me to have that type of outburst. So let's say you're working with Urzuli Freda and you don't know how to really serve her. You're not knowledgeable about the secrets that come with working with that Loa. That's the other thing. There are passwords. Y'all want me to talk about Barone, but I can't give y'all the password to access the name Barone Samedi. I can't give y'all the password. Period.
But these are things that you don't learn on Google. That's what I'm saying. That's the whole point.
And so how is it? So to that point, how it's going to come out of you is in this way. You working with Freda, you end up in an abusive relationship. You didn't know how to work with the entity, so the disrespect that you produce through your service of that particular entity is going to be produced through the universe, and it's going to affect you. The respect that you give to that entity is going to do the same. You're going to get exactly what you deserve when you work with that particular entity. So if you don't know what you're doing, you're going to get what you deserve. And if you do know what you're doing, you're going to get what you deserve.
Get what you deserve. Either way, you're going to get what you deserve.
So it's not okay to be a lone witch. It is an inadequate stage for you to be at. And that's why we want to talk to you all about the Ancestral Life Path readings.
Yes. Full circle. Absolutely. So if you are lone witching it, if you are kitchen witching it, if you are new to spirituality and you've just begun working with your ancestors, we at Black Spectrum Network actually offer a reading that will help put you on your path for working with your ancestors, for tapping into ancestral power. You guys that watch us regularly have seen several different readings that we've done, speaking with the ancestors, asking the ancestors what they want us to do, how they want us to work with them. And so they answered, and what we created was the Ancestral Path reading. Okay, this reading is very, very good. It's full of information. It's great for beginners and for people who have also been practicing for a while but on their own and haven't really had a lot of guidance. This reading is going to produce very useful information about who your ancestors are in terms of what their purpose is for walking with you. What is it that they want to do in your life? What is it that they are doing in your life? We're also going to be able to tell you, how do you tap in? How do they want to work with you? Do they want an altar? What is that altar going to consist of? What is the schedule with which they want you to work with them or to come to them? Do they need offerings? Or do they just want your time? Do they want you to pray 3 times a day, 6 times a day, 2 times a day? These are all answers that you will get. And finally, you will get recipes for a healing bath that will help stabilize your energy and prepare you energetically and spiritually for the work in the upcoming season with your ancestors. And then depending on your reader, depending on what you actually have going on in your life, there may be additional recommendations. But those 4 things come with the ancestral reading, the Ancestral Path reading, and it's only $80, you guys. It's not the $20,000 that you would pay for an initiation. It's just $80, and it puts you on the right path, which is working with your ancestors. So I highly recommend the reading. Any of you that have had the reading with either Negzo, Peach Blossom, or myself, if you are on this broadcast right now on the live that we're taping, go ahead and drop a testimonial. We've gotten rave reviews about them from clients, and I just encourage you all to tap in.
Yes, I strongly suggest you all get the Ancestral Life Path reading so that you all can...
Bonjour, I'm Pastor Dr. Quintari Shakir, otherwise known as Negrezo. Good mentorship is incredibly hard to find. Here on YouTube, you have lone witches, fake-ass psychics, and all these other people that are going to lead you to nowhere. But with me, you can get one-on-one mentorship by going to www.blackspectrumnetwork.com.
I don't work with their ancestors, but I probably work with your ancestors. You know what I'm saying? When we had to think about, our ancestors, like, on the other side, marketing our products and services. Mm-hmm. So you're watching this broadcast because my good grandfather, Zoe Both, he's, saying to your ancestor, go and get a reading from that boy. He's going to help you out. So you definitely need to get the Ancestral Life Path reading. Now, what that's going to do for you, to her point, is it's going to help you to develop your intuitive gifts, because the prayer and meditation regimen also may come with a meal plan. So, for example, the spirits may tell you to, along with your prayer and meditation, you're supposed to eat this, drink 16 ounces of water, have 2 large salads or something like that. And what that's going to do is it's going to clean your body up, make it more alkaline so that the electrical current, otherwise known as your chi or your ashe, can flow through your body, okay? It can flow through your body easily. Clean blood makes for a good psychic, okay? Mm-hmm. Clean blood makes for a good psychic, also makes for a good sacrifice. Now, that being said...
And lots of water, too. You guys understand that water is a conduit. The more water you have readily available in your body, the easier it is for spirit to move through you. So you definitely want to be drinking more water if you're starting down this path.
I wouldn't say water available in your body. I would say the more water soluble that your body is, because the body is 80% water.
Okay, water soluble.
I'm just saying, put it in the context, like, so they can think about it. Like, if you're dehydrated,
right? That's what I'm referring to.
Yeah. So but I'm just trying to give them a different way of thinking about it. So if you're dehydrated, you still have a connection to your intuition. It's just that the electrical charge doesn't have enough of a liquid vessel for it to flow through.
Exactly.
So essentially what this does is will clean your body up, will clean your mind up, you will be more intuitive, you will hear directly from your ancestors, so it makes your manifestations happen much more quickly. You will hear and see more sharply, dream more vividly, and you'll just overall feel better. There's no reason for you to continue sitting on YouTube Live wondering, what's your next step, hopping from video to video, and just saying, hey, it's going to happen for me one day. It can happen for you today. It's only $80, which is the price of a video game, the price of a new pair of shoes, half the price of some Air Jordans or some Timberlands, the price of a full face of makeup.
And a lot less expensive than the spiritual work you'll be calling us and asking us to do 6 months from now when your shit's falling apart.
Spiritual work with me for a spiritual back. Oh, that's the other thing I want to tell you. Yeah, so if you have a mental illness and you are looking for spiritual assistance, now I am going to recommend that you see a therapist. I'm strongly going to recommend that you see a therapist because for two reasons. Number one, legal purposes, and two, because I'm a sociologist and that's what I believe in. But beyond that, what the bath is going to do is going to you won't feel the effects of your illness as powerfully. Those experiences won't be as salient for you anymore. But the price starts at $1,000 and it may change depending on some other circumstances. But yeah, it's $1,000. You have to fly into Atlanta. You'll meet me, stay in my temple. Maybe even meet Osun Funke. Maybe.
If you're lucky.
I wanted to ask you something, though. Let's continue the show. So
I don't like that look in your eye. What do you want to ask me?
Do the Orisha or the Loa recognize people who are self-initiated as priests and priestesses?
No.
You asked me this weekend.
But you know the answer. You're just being messy.
No. You asked me this.
No, they do not recognize you as a priest or a priestess because you are not a priest or a priestess. You may have a bloodline that would indicate that you are a priest or a priestess. They may listen to your prayers a little bit more readily than they do your friends, but you will not have the authority or the ability of a priest or priestess until you become a priest or priestess. You guys can't even imagine how many cuts I have on my body. Okay? There's a reason I have cuts on my body. It's because I'm a priestess. Okay? There are all kinds of things that one goes through to wear the title priest or priestess and to have the energy of the Orisha with you. Okay? And that's not something that you can read into yourself. That's not something that you can meditate into yourself. You cannot light a candle and become a priestess. The only way to become a priest or a priestess is to become a priest or a priestess through the prescribed initiation rituals of the tradition that you're concerned with.
You remember your Agongon initiation?
Mm-hmm.
And the next day we talked and you said you would fight somebody if they false claimed.
Absolutely. Beat a bitch down. I would do it. Yes. Yeah. And that was even before my Iyanifa initiation. And so now, yeah, for sure. And that's how I know that these people who are claiming to have certain knowledge of Ifa, there's no way They don't have it, because anybody who goes through the initiation process, there's no way they would give that information away. First of all, you know that you can't or that you shouldn't for fear of your life, your destiny, your children, so on and so forth. You wouldn't do it because you understand the risk of that. But you also wouldn't do it out of understanding and appreciation and reverence for the process that you go through. I mean, how would you feel? How would you feel if someone was saying that they were a voodoo priest and that they work with and wield the power of Barone because they read a couple of books? How does it make you feel?
They do. How does it make me feel?
Are you offended? At least offended?
If this was a prayer room, am I praying for them or am I sending them to hell? Which one y'all think? Am I praying for them with the prayer hands or am I sending them motherfuckers to hell? No, I am offended. I'm offended because of the amount of money that I paid, the amount of frustration that I went through, the amount of fear that I had before taking my oath. Sitting through them long-ass ceremonies in them hot-ass mountains, barefoot. And that other thing is, I couldn't walk around barefoot in my motherfucking temple. It was hard. I don't walk around barefoot, man. That was the most excruciating. That was the worst thing. Then I had to eat goat's balls on accident. That shit. I mean, I'm walking around past everybody. I knew it was something up when the lady was like, she went like this. Like she ain't even. She just tapped her finger and then just.
A lot of people do that.
And I was like, and I looked and
So fuel my fire, take me higher, I'll be your liar too. Cause when we're here, there's nothing better than the skyline view. Ooh, I love this skyline view. Ooh.